Okay, Libby, tell me a little bit about your organization.
Sure. Vinson Hall Retirement Community is McLean, Virginia. We have distinguished military men and women who live there, and then others are assisted living and memory support and skilled nursing. And short stay is actually open to everyone, retired officers and now Department of Defense, CIA. Really, those are the residents who live in independent living. And then, of course, throughout. And it is a tremendous organization with a long history, a long legacy. Wounded Warrior Transitional Housing is part of it, which I'm very delighted to be a part of. Some affordable dwelling as well. So it's really that full continuum, that full life plan community with the military history.
That's great. How is your board structure organized?
It is a governing board. The foundation board is really the umbrella, if you will, and then various committees, board committees, really the usual, if you will, as far as the audit committee and the operations committee, those types of things. Very strong board. We are I'm so grateful and thankful through my career to have exceptional board members, and they're just the same.
That's great. Now, I understand you've had some recent initiatives with your board around compliance and quality of life and care. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Sure. The quality of life and care is something that I know colleagues use throughout. When I was in Richmond, prior to a long time ago, we say it differently, whether it's an operations committee or working with residents in various ways as to the lifestyle and wellness across the campus. And it's a renewed focus, I'll say, at Vinson Hall, in the sense that we have a resident life committee and we also have an operations committee. And so in looking at what the duties and responsibilities are, lots of people serve on both, but residents really serve on the resident life committee. So as we go forward with a holler and engagement survey and deploy that here in the next couple of months, that committee is just front and center to be able to read those results and then, most importantly, interpret them into performance improvement when and if necessary.
That's great. So how does that resident life committee intersect with your quality improvement efforts, your QAPI efforts?
Sure. It is a very good question. That's exactly where we're going now. To be able to take what the operations team does with quality assurance and performance improvement and take those clinical dashboards, if you will, the clinical metrics that are so important, and then put them into the resident life committee. Some of the residents who serve on that committee have had short stay experiences in the nursing center. We have a tremendous family council in our Arleigh Burke Pavilion, which is our skilled nursing. And the chair of that group sits on the resident life committee, which is just great. It really is a lot of communication and engagement. That's a big focus point moving forward.
So as you look at this resident life committee, this new committee, what are their thoughts and your thoughts about what the outcomes could be from this? Where do you think it's going to go?
Sure. And to make sure that I'm clear, this committee came on board when we were expanding the campus a few years ago with a very specific objective, and that was to take my words, the we, they, and create the us. And so now that the expansion's finished and we're starting to live into our new normal, I am emphatic about keeping the Resident Life Committee as an active committee. So right now we're changing those gears to, now we're the us, how do we now live as the us into really an outstanding lifestyle that we know we all want.
So, and when you think about that, what do you think those kinds of efforts will mean? Different approaches, different staffing, different training? How do you see it playing out?
I don't see necessarily different staffing at this point. I think the different approaches to transitions from independent living to assisted living to memory support to nursing, I definitely see it playing out there. Minimizing or mitigating transition trauma, making sure that we really accentuate the higher levels of residency for independent living residents, that internal marketing effort, if you will. I definitely see that happening more and more. Transitions can be from the hospital and then back to, obviously. So any transition we're looking at very closely now. The short stay area, our hospitality, is a tremendous piece of this continuum, and I see an approach there with resident life getting more involved. What does that look like? Just like everyone else, we're working on our metrics there with our post-acute care partners. So those are a few things.
So they'll really help, this Resident Life Committee will really help you to define some of those areas.
I do believe so. And again, in our new normal. You know, for so long, Vinson Hall's been there, and with this amazing new place, it's time to make sure that our programs and services are where they need to be now, because they certainly have been in the past.
So for our other members out there who are watching this and saying, boy, that's a great concept, but I don't know where to start, what advice would you give them?
I would start with small groups of champions. So having a staff liaison with a group of 6 to 8 residents, you know, this is an art, not a science. It's something that it could be 5, it could be 9 is my point. And whether those people are experts at, say, finance, if it's a finance committee, or it's a quality of care committee and they're all nurses, you know, you probably want a blend. You want a mixed audience. Maybe there's just a person who's really interested and passionate. But once you get that, it's like a pebble in an ocean to me, Carol. Once you get that small group on board, and then the ripple effect of outside, and the community comes on, participation and contributions are the objective and the goal. So I would start there.
That's great. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? You have to do it a little bit at a time. Thank you so much. These have been really helpful.
Sure, thank you.